All right, hi guys. So it's the morning after the interview, and yeah, whew, that was some interview, right? So anyway, I figured I'd better jump on here really quickly and give my thoughts while it's still fresh in my mind, because it's morning here in the UK. So I'm just going to do it just before I have to log on for work. My view on Meghan is I'm not sure. That's my view on her as an individual. Now, as a black woman, one black woman to a biracial woman who the world sees as black, however much you just want to, consider yourself to be biracial, you do have a black parent, so that's all they're going to see. If I see bullshit, I will call out the bullshit. And the way she's been treated has been highly, highly racist by a lot of parts of the media and parts of the royal family. So, yeah, I mean, I'm going to defend her for that reason alone. On an individual basis, as a person, I'm going to say I'm just not sure about her. And the reason I say that is because there's a lot of things that she said in her interview and also in that engagement interview that she and Harry had that just don't ring true. Number one, claiming that you didn't really know much about the royal family. You didn't Google Harry when he asked you out on a date. You didn't investigate. Who in this day and age gets asked on a date by anybody. I mean, I haven't dated for obviously being married, I haven't dated for forever, it feels like. But, who in this day and age gets asked out on a date and then doesn't Google the person that is asking them out on a date? I mean, come on. So that's number one. Number two, I've said before in a previous interview, one of the things that I find quite strange about her is that the whole wedding where, she left her mum to be the only person that was representing her from her family to be sitting in the pew, but yet you invite all these celebrities that you did not grow up with. You couldn't allow your mum's cousin, your mum's, best friend, or, some other member of your mum's close-knit circle that could come and provide her with support. You left your mum to be sitting in the pew to take in the magnitude of what you are doing, which is basically marrying into an institution. And then her saying that she had no idea that the royal family was the way it is. Again, I call total bullshit on this. I can understand, yes, the perception versus the reality is very different in a lot of cases. You go and apply for a job and, they'll sell you one thing, and then when you get there, it's like a completely different thing. I get that. But you had to know that you are entering into an institution where literally the only thing that you are supposed to do is smile and shake a few hands. That is literally your job, is to smile and shake a few hands and to say nothing when people are criticizing you. So for her to be like, oh, I didn't expect the extent of the press scrutiny, etc., etc. Totally unbelievable. Now, in some ways, okay, she wasn't that famous, but she did have fame. So people probably did recognize her. And that level of fame is actually very different to the level of fame that you would expect when you are marrying into an institution. And that's the other thing about, marrying into an institution, is that it is a duty-bound role. It is not about you and your personal feelings. They are not, in essence, supposed to be seen as human. They try and humanize themselves, right? Where they go and shake hands and, kiss, sick babies and all the rest of that sort of stuff that goes with, being a ambassador to a lot of these charities. But really, they're not supposed to have a personality. They're not supposed to be speaking out about things that, are, I guess, you could conceive to be controversial. Their job is to literally smile and nod, and then the whole thing where she was like, she didn't know that when she gave birth to Archie, that she had to stand on the steps of, okay, so just a rewind on the British press, is that with the British press, and this is maybe for people who don't live in the UK, is that there's always been an understanding that the British press expect to be invited into areas of the royal family so that they can sell basically newspapers, right? And if you don't play ball, they are not going to be nice to you. I mean, You're coming from a celebrity world. How did you not realize that you need to basically schmooze the press the same way that, you know, she would go on TV shows and, you know, give her opinion on, you know, Donald Trump and all the rest of that sort of stuff. You know, she had to understand that is a press corps in which you have to be nice to everybody in order to get those interview opportunities. So how did she think that, you know, she could be like, with the British press, I'm going to, number one, hide who the parents, the godparents of my child are, and then when I give birth, I'm not going to stand on the steps of the Lindo wing, which is where Princess Diana and Fergie and what's her face, Kate stood when they gave birth to their babies. Instead, you kept the whole thing sort of shrouded in mystery, and then, you know, eventually came out and showed the baby for like 2 seconds and didn't really like release an official photo. They're not going to be nice to you off the back of that. Now, understandably, at that point, probably her relationship with the press had probably broken down. So she was like, fuck you, I'm not going to play by your rules. And I get that. I completely get that. But to act like you didn't know that there is like either a written or a, you know, sort of a backroom deal with the press where you have to give them access in exchange for them being nice about you, seems kind of like hard to believe. So, you know, there's things about her that I just find quite strange. And then obviously, you know, throughout her life, she's clearly cut people off where they, you know, maybe don't behave in the way that she would expect to behave, you know, people to behave towards her. And I completely get that, because, you know, too many of us are sitting in either toxic families or toxic relationships, or, you know, dealing with toxic bullshit that is detrimental to your mental health, and you do it because you are duty bound. And that's the part that I think, you know, being African, I can understand this whole, you know, duty and honor thing. And I think coming from America, it's, you know, and being an American, I don't think those are things that she really understands. And maybe that's why this whole thing just fell apart with the UK royal family. And then number two, I find it also really weird that nobody gave her etiquette lessons. Like, how are you entering this family and no one gave you etiquette lessons? And then two, when so that's a blame that I place on the royal family. What was disappointing though for me is that, you know, you've got Kate as her sister-in-law, and you would think Kate, having suffered through this press bullshit for like the best part of 15 years, did not take her in under her wing and say, I'm going to teach you how to navigate this bullshit of a royal family and the bullshit of the press. Didn't do that. And, you know, one thing you'll say about Kate is that woman is a grifter, and so is her whole family. Because from what I have read is that basically that whole family grifted their way into the royal family. You know, they placed Kate in strategic places where she would have the chance of meeting. And she put up with his bullshit, waiting 10 years for him to put a ring on her finger, because most women would have bounced by then, right? But obviously she knew that she had her eye on the prize. And I'm sure her mum was in the background, you know, steering her course, you know, and making the right connections in order to secure, you know, her ascendancy to the throne, or rather ascendancy via her husband to the throne, right? But, you know, I can believe that Kate, well, in my view, I think Kate should have taken her under her wing and, you know, kind of guided her through. But, you know, like I said, she's a grifter. Her whole existence is to protect herself and the ambition that she set for herself, which is to sit beside William as king and have her children, you know, ascend to the throne as well. So, you know, in that sense, I can totally get why Kate didn't like kind of try to help her, because in many ways, by allowing a lot of the press bullshit to fall on Meghan, she kind of became, you know, the saintly Kate. Because before that, the way the press treated Kate was not good. They used to write all types of terrible stories about her, right? You know, it was a mixture of like really good, and sometimes it was like terrible stuff that they would write about her. You know, and one of the worst parts was when they one of these, it wasn't the UK press, having said that, it was one of these French paparazzis that went and took a photo of her while she was sunbathing, you know, topless. So that is like totally out of order. But with Kate, I just imagine that she was not one of those sister-in-laws that was going to take you under her wing and help you navigate any of the crap that comes with the job. She was kind of like, well, if the press are dumping on you, Meghan, then the attention is taken off me. And you'll notice, I mean, obviously if you're not in the UK, you won't really notice, but if you are in the UK, the one thing you will see is that the minute Meghan left, the stories that they wrote about Kate being like the most fantastic mother, she's so like thoughtful, like basically she essentially ascended to sainthood, because in some ways the press were like, wow, if we we look what we had with Meghan, who wouldn't play ball, and now look, we've got the saintly Kate who is like allowing us access to see her children, strategically placed photos, letting you know where she's going to be so that they could have their photo ops, because obviously the newspapers are there to sell newspapers, right? They're there to get the clicks. Daily Mail obviously being the worst of them, right? There's literally a cesspool of racists on that side. So yeah, I mean, there are many things about, the interview that I was just kind of like, I don't know about all this, girl. Having said that, there are a lot of things that I did find very sympathetic. So yes, I can understand how hard it must be to essentially have your whole life scrutinized. Very different from the way in which her life would have been scrutinized when she was just effectively a minor celebrity on a fairly minor show, right? I mean, I'm not saying, no shade, right? But Suits was not Game of Thrones, right? So the level of scrutiny that she would have experienced in the UK, under the UK press as being part of the royal family, is very different. And I understand how hard that must have been, especially, and one thing that I was really surprised by when she admitted that she's feeling suicidal after having given birth. Now, I could imagine all the feelings that, she must have like felt, probably before the pregnancy, and then, through the pregnancy, and then finally when you give birth, the way they treated her was just not good, right? The stories they wrote about her were just not good. And, just rewind about some of the things where I'm like, oh no, girl, where she was like, I don't read the stuff. I'm like, so why were you depressed? I mean, obviously you read the stuff. I mean, come on now. I hate it when celebrities lie and say that they don't read stuff about them. Like, how do you, I understand, I understand not reading things because, they're depressing, right? But you have a PR team around you. They're telling you that the press coverage is not good, right? So you obviously know about some of these stories. You obviously don't read all of them, but you might read a selection of them. So you know what's going on. So anyway, all of that would have contributed, obviously, from what she's indicating, to her mental health breakdown. And, when you've just had a baby, trust me, the emotions are going everywhere. And when people are saying horrible things about you, the most hardy of people will struggle to just be like, just brush that dirt off my shoulder, because I struggled, when I had my daughter. I was crying over everything. Like, I cried over my chipped nail polish. I mean, look at the state of my nails now. Like, I'm gonna repaint them, but at the time it was so upsetting. The tiniest things would make me cry. So yeah, I can completely, sympathize with that. And I was actually quite shocked that she admitted to being suicidal. But, perfectly understandable. And, a lot of the things where, they took away the titles of her son, basically decided he wasn't going to be a prince. Like, that is deeply suspect. Why would you take away the title of a kid that should be a prince? I mean, what's all that about? And then the whole thing where, they eventually decided to leave, and then Prince Charles was like not helping them out. Just totally foul. And then, the whole thing with his brother. I mean, the rumor, is with his brother, obviously, if those of you who are in the know, is that man was having an affair with some lady. And, he basically made a deal with the press where he was like, okay, well, you can have like some stories about us, that we will help plant, to make us look good in exchange for you not revealing the fact that, I've been having an affair with this woman, so... And obviously then Harry, Prince William, and the wider firm then didn't feel like they could go against the UK press and kind of tell them to back the fuck up off his wife. So it does appear that there is a bit of cowardice in the whole family where they are prepared to sacrifice certain members in order to protect the future of the monarchy. And another thing I don't really understand is, when Meghan is saying the Queen is lovely, but certain things like they took away her titles, they took away the titles of her son, they took away their royal patronages, etc., etc., took away their security, which is, another completely foul thing, right? That they now have to rely on some random celebrity. I mean, not that Tyler Perry is a random celebrity, but, you know what I mean? Like Tyler Perry. I mean, come on now. It's not. Why are you relying on celebrities to provide you with protection? I mean, if the guy got picked up, let's say Harry or his child or whatever, got kidnapped by the Taliban, that would be an international incident. Like, how are you not providing him with protection? Like, that is totally foul. So yeah, like there's just so many things that are just wrong with that family. Like deep at their core, I just feel like they are a rotten family. But at the same time, Meg is not somebody that I'm like, 100% cheerleading for her, because there's just weird things about her, if I'm perfectly honest, that I'm reserving a bit of judgment about. So yeah, that's pretty much my whole view on the thing. Kudos to Oprah, because she was asking all types of questions. And then, that's the other thing that I remembered, is that person who was like, oh, how dark is this person going to be? Because what I was trying to figure out is, were they trying to indicate that the person was asking how dark is the sun going to be? Because if he turns out dark, we can't have an obviously black prince. Like, is that the reason why they took away the title? And also, can somebody help me make the distinction between the Queen? Because I thought the Queen was like the monarch. And, for a lot of people who are not in the UK, again, and if you don't know much about the Commonwealth, the Queen is head of state. She's literally head of the government, right? So are you telling me that the Queen said, you don't get protection? The Queen said, your black son, or, obviously the kid looks white. I mean, basically you're white, but, one drop rule son cannot be a prince, because we can't have any black princes, or any princes that don't have pure white blood. Did the Queen say you must be stripped of your patronages? Like, which is it? Like, because I'm trying to figure out who is making the decisions in the royal family, because these are quite big decisions to say that we're not going to provide you with protection. So if you get kidnapped, you're on your own. We're not going to give you any money. Who's deciding that? Is that Prince Charles, or is that the Queen? Like, and, who's making some of these really monumental decisions that are effectively putting this whole family at jeopardy? Like, I'm just really trying to understand, because they're trying to make out that the Queen is, she's so lovely. But are you telling me that you could pick up the phone to the Queen and say, oh, how is the Duke of Edinburgh, who has had a heart transplant or whatever it is? I'm pretty sure they're harvesting young people's organs to keep that man alive, but whatever. You could pick up the phone to the Queen to ask about his health, but you can't pick up the phone to the Queen and say, someone is taking away my protection. Someone is saying that my son can't be a prince. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just finding it all a bit weird, So, yeah, I would like to know what the distinction is between the Queen and the people in her circle that are making certain decisions. Because from what you sort of gather from a little bit of The Crown, is that the Queen takes advice from the people around her. So she's very much in control. It's not like, she's, not that I've only actually watched like halfway through season 1 of The Crown. So I'm just basing it on what the little that I saw, is that the Queen is very much in control of major decisions. So, but then having said that, the Queen obviously didn't know that her son, Andrew, was going to do an interview about the fact that he knew a paedophile and was hanging out with, other pedophiles on this pedophile island. So there's a part of me that's like, does she like have that much of an iron control over her family, or doesn't she? Because you want to think that, yes, she has like complete control over her family, but things like the whole Andrew interview just screamed that she didn't know that he was going to do that interview, because the man is an idiot for doing the interview, to be honest. And also an alleged paedophile. So anyway, that was just my thoughts on the whole thing. I thought I'd better get them down before, I start work officially. I am like so tired. I need like lots of coffee to keep me awake today and get me through the day. But, you know, I love that interview. You know, Oprah was not messing about. She asked all the hard questions. I'd love to know more about Meg's mum and, you know, how she felt sitting alone in that pew on that wedding day. Oh, and then the other thing where she said that Kate made her cry. I was like, I don't understand. When somebody is getting married, right? The bride is supposed to make all the decisions. No one else gets to have a say, not the sister-in-law. The sister-in-law is not supposed to be saying, I don't want this child wearing this flower dress or whatever it is, or I don't think that that's the right thing for, you know, this is the right flower arrangement, whatever. You're supposed to sit your ass down and support the bride. Like, what the hell was all that about? It's like, why would Kate even be getting involved? Like, mind your business. I know you think you're the queen bee and you think, you know, well, I say think, she is going to be the queen bee at some point, but still, you know, it just, that whole story was just really, really weird to me. And it's clearly obvious that the two of them do not get along. And, you know, I guess Kate just isn't about, you know, protecting anyone but her legacy. So that's kind of understandable. But anyway, that's the end of my thoughts. There's probably going to be things I'm going to remember, but either way, let me know what you think. Drop them in the comment box, and see you for the next video. Thanks. Bye.